I was a kid looking for a way to fill my days and make some cash when I fell into the wrong crowd. Worked for a guy I respected. A lot. Gortash. Politician. Inventor. One of these wheeler-dealer types who seems to have a finger in every pie. Through the jigs and the reels, he made a deal with Zariel behind my back. You know Zariel, right? Archdevil of Avernus. She put this thing in my chest and set me to work. Well, to war. I learned quick how to stay alive. And the engine served me when it came to killing devils. 10 years of that. The stories I could tell. I guess I was naive to think everything he got up to was above board. What did I know? I saw a job. A good job. With people I liked. Doing work I was good at. Sometimes I'm jealous of that girl. Ugh, to feel so invincible again.
Who is Karlach? Karlach is the raging, hot, burning barbarian you find on the riverside. The one-horned tiefling that escaped the hells. The girl with an iron heart, and the girl who just wants a hug. But there is so much more to her than meets the eye, as is the case with many characters in Baldur's Gate 3. So come on and join me on my character deep dives on our favorite origin characters, our companions, potential friends, enemies and lovers, as we take a look at their past, personality, romance and their possible futures. And let's find out who they really are. This video will contain major spoilers for Baldur's Gate 3, especially everything related to Karlach, her personal arc, her romance, and the game's ending. We can find Karlach on the Risen Road, by the river near the toll house where the fake paladins of Tyr currently reside. Our interactions with her will vary depending on whether Will is in a party or not, but regardless, if we choose to keep her alive, and of course we keep her alive because killing Karlach is a sin. If we keep her alive, she will ask us to help her get rid of some of Zariel's lackeys who are pretending to be paladins of Tyr. These fake paladins of Tyr are actually trying to hunt down Karlach on Zariel's behalf. If we agree to help her, she will tag along, and once we've taken down the fake paladin, she joins our party proper. Even the first time we see Karlach, it is very clear that she is very hot. What? That's not what it says in your script. No, but it's the truth, right? I mean, look, she's literally on fire. Okay, fine. Let's try that again. Even the first time we see Karlach, it is clear that something's up with this tiefling. As I said, she's literally on fire. Will tells us that she is an advocatus diaboli, a devil's advocate, an infernal war devil, a monster that hunts children and slays innocents. But of course, we learn soon enough that that is not true. So, who is Karlach then? Well, while it is true that Karlach spent a big part of her life in the Hells, she was once an ordinary tiefling from Baldur's Gate, who, frankly, just got fucked over by life. Karlach is very expressive and extroverted. She loves spending time with her friends and just wants to enjoy life. But don't do anything to piss her off, cause when she gets pissed off, she gets really pissed off.
I'm free now, and I'm never going back!
I guess you could say that she has a fiery personality. Okay, I'll stop. But yeah, Karlach carries a lot of anger with her, and she has good reason for it. She has been through hell and back the past 10 years. Literally. Okay, now I'll stop. But seriously, Karlach has not led an easy life. And especially her years as a soldier in Zariel's army were rough. Not only was she forced to fight in the Blood War, an ancient conflict between devils and demons of the lower planes, but Zariel also replaced Karlach's heart with an infernal engine, a special piece of hellish machinery that gives her a great amount of power and makes her more effective on the battlefield, but becomes very unstable once outside of the Hells. And all of this happened because she got betrayed by the person she trusted most. So, how did Karlach land herself in this hot water? Or, well, fire, rather. Oh my god, stop! Karlach's full name is Karlach Cliffgate, and she grew up in the lower city of Baldur's Gate where she lived with her parents. She was probably somewhere in her late teens when she got a job working for a man named Enver Gortash as his bodyguard. She worked hard and did her job well. She protected Gortash with her life, and he paid her well for it. So well that she was able to buy her and her parents a nice house in a better neighborhood. She respected Gortash, looked up to him, trusted him. But little did she know, Gortash had made a deal with the archdevil Zariel. What Gortash would get out of this deal exactly is never really made clear. Perhaps Zariel gave him the infernal resources he needed to set up a steel watch. That seems like the most probable thing to me, but I'm not sure. But in exchange, Gortash would sell Zariel someone to test out her new machine on. Someone to be another soldier in her blood war. And Gortash had just the perfect soldier in mind. Frightened, confused, and betrayed, young Karlach was sent to Avernus where she was to fight in a blood war as Zariel's champion. But what she really was, a prisoner. Zariel replaced Karlach's heart with an infernal engine, a special infernal machine that made Karlach stronger, more powerful, and more effective on the battlefield. Karlach's time in Avernus was difficult and lonely. There weren't many people she could trust. No one really. The closest thing to a friend she had was a Cambion named Flo, someone that she would seek out from time to time whenever she needed a laugh. Even though Karlach wasn't even her strongest fighter, Zariel favored her, like a child favors a captive pet, and so she became part of Zariel's inner circle. This is where she met Mizora, a Cambion, and another member of Zariel's little clique. The only difference, Karlach was there by force. Mizora was there by choice. The two did not get along well, and Mizora envied the attention Karlach would get from Zariel. And this is where I want to talk about Will for a second, aka the Blade of Frontiers. So, at some point while Karlach was still in Avernus, she gets hunted by Will. We know this because we see visions from Will chasing a one-horned tiefling while in Avernus, the tiefling being Karlach, of course. So, my main question while researching and writing about Karlach was, why did Will hunt Karlach while she was still in Avernus? We know Will's hunting Karlach for Mizora, and we know Zariel gave the order to Mizora. But then, why would Zariel want Karlach dead if she favors her so much? And she is still in Avernus at that point, so the order from Zariel must have been after Karlach escaped, right? But then, why was Will hunting her in Avernus? Well, at first I thought this was kind of a plot hole, but I looked up some more information about this online and I stumbled across a Reddit thread where someone asked the exact same question. And the answer a lot of people gave was that Mizora might have decided to send Will after Karlach all on her own, because she was jealous. And that actually makes a lot of sense. Karlach does mention that Mizora envied the attention, so perhaps Mizora just wanted Karlach out of the picture. Mizora's jealous of Karlach, so she orders Will to hunt her down and kill her. Her contract with Will states that he must hunt down targets limited to the infernal, the demonic, the heartless, and the soulless. Karlach fits into that category because she quite literally has no heart. And then Karlach escapes and Zariel gives out the order to Mizora. Of course, by then, Mizora has Will already hunting for her. Whether that was a smart thing for her to do, I don't know, probably not. But this sounds like the most logical timeline to me. Either way, for 10 years, Karlach served Zariel against her will. For 10 years, she fought. And for 10 years, she waited patiently until there was an opening for her to escape. And one day, that opening finally came, in the form of a Mind Flayer ship. When she saw the Mind Flayer ship approaching, Karlach fought her way through the battlefield, striking devils and demons alike. She eventually found her way onto the ship, with the Blade of Frontiers following close behind. The Mind Flayers found her quickly after that. They captured her and infected her with a tadpole. But Karlach had finally made it out of Avernus. Karlach was finally free. Karlach is outgoing, expressive, straightforward, and impulsive. She is also hot-headed and aggressive, but her her infernal engine is definitely in the right place. She doesn't shy away from a fight and likes to use her axe rather than her words, but she disapproves of cruel actions and cares about helping the innocent. She also has complete inner monologues, and that's something she and I have in common. That's right, talking to yourself is not weird. I do it all the time. I'm basically doing it right now. I'm yelling into a microphone and there's no one else in the room, so I'm basically talking to myself, right? Actually, no. My cat's in the room, so does that still count? Oh, she's so cute. I'm hungry. Can I make some pasta tonight? Wait, what was I doing? Oh, that's right. I was recording a video. Anyway, Karlach feels emotions strongly and is very open about her feelings. Getting sent to the hells in her late teens or early 20s, she missed out on a lot of personal development that normal people that age usually go through. A big part of her young adult self, she lived as a prisoner and was forced to fight on the front lines of a war that she didn't even want to be part of. I imagine there wasn't a lot of time for her to process her emotions. She couldn't just sit down and allow herself to feel sad or happy or angry. She's even said it herself.
I couldn't let myself feel sad in the hells. Letting my guard down would have been a death sentence.
She had to toughen up and keep everything bottled up inside, which is why she still carries a lot of those feelings with her. The anger and the sadness she felt when Gortash betrayed her, the fear she felt when she was sent to Avernus and had her heart replaced with some sort of strange infernal machine. And not only the negative emotions, positive ones too. Now that she's finally free, she finally gets to enjoy the simple things in life. A good drink, food, friends, love, intimacy, and being able to touch people. A hug, a kiss, or a simple handshake. Everything she missed out on during her 10 years in the hells. And this is also where her character arc gets even more tragic. If we do her personal quest, we learn that her infernal engine won't be able to function long while outside of Avernus. The environment is too cold to sustain the infernal metals inside her, so if she doesn't return to the hells, the engine will burn her up from the inside out, and she would not survive it. So now that she's finally managed to escape the hells, her only choice is to go back and live or stay here and die. The way Karlach reacts says a lot about how she works through her feelings, or doesn't work through them rather. She fears having to return to Avernus very much, which is understandable given what she's been through and how hard she's worked to get out. She says she'd rather die than return there. And she just wants to live her life and enjoy it while she still can, and spend her time with the people she cares about, so that's what she'll do. However, she doesn't want to talk about the situation at all. She doesn't even want to think about it. She just wants to live now, which, fair enough, but at the same time, it feels like she's doing the, hey, this problem that I have, yeah, it's stressing me out, so I'm just not going to think about it and pretend it doesn't exist, even though it is very clearly bothering me and definitely won't go away by itself thing. Which, as a side note, not judging her, because I've definitely been guilty of this myself. But I think this reaction is just the outcome of her having to bottle up her emotions all the time while in Avernus. She didn't get to process them, and instead she just swallow her tears, hold up her head high, and keep going on. I feel like it is only after getting revenge on Gortash that she is finally able to start processing some of these emotions. And while doing so, she is able to process the reality of the situation. She sees now how messed up and unfair it is, and how much it sucks that she had a big part of her life just taken away from her. That there are so many things she had to miss out on, all because of one douchebag that just decided to betray her. But in that same moment, she also realizes how grateful she is of the time that she did have, of the experiences she gained and the friends that she made. And that, despite everything, she is happy. It seems that she's made peace with the fact that her time here will be short, and she is willing to accept her fate. And I think that is really powerful.
Will you stay with me when it's time for me to go? I think I can do anything if you're there. Even die.
Now that we've looked at Karlach's history and personality, let's talk about her romance. So Karlach's romance is unique in that for like 1/3 of the game, we are not able to touch her. Literally. The heat coming from her infernal engine makes her body so hot that touching her would severely burn you or worse. So a big part of her romance involves us trying to find a way to cool her down, so we can, hold hands and stuff. As I mentioned before, Karlach is very open and straightforward about her feelings, and that includes romance. She does not mince her words, and is very forthcoming about how she feels about our character. Either during the Tiefling party or during a random night in camp, she will approach us and tell us how she likes us and that she really wants to sleep with us. Due to her engine, however, we can't, and we'll first have to find a way to cool her down somehow. Before we get our first upgrade, Karlach is very chill with us hooking up with other companions because we can't touch her right now anyway, but once she's gotten her second upgrade, she'll start to take the relationship more seriously and wants us to fully commit as well. What's really sweet about Karlach is that, despite her being so don't you dare make another pun. Despite her being so horny, I will hit you. Despite her wanting to touch her romance partner so badly, she's totally fine with taking things slowly, even if she doesn't know how to do that. All of her previous relationships were, as she put it, quick to flare and quick to fade. If someone was willing, she'd go for it. She never really got a chance to get much experience in slower, more mature types of relationships, or I guess relationships in general. She was still figuring all that stuff out when Gortash betrayed her. And keep in mind, Karlach was likely still in her late teens to early 20s when she got sent away to Avernus, and your late teens and 20s are very important stages of life when it comes to developing relationships, getting experience, and figuring out what you want from a relationship. Karlach didn't have the chance to experience all that stuff then, so this is all new to her. Now that she has found someone that she really likes, she is going to have to learn to take things slow if that's what our character wants. And as I said, she's totally okay with that. She knows what she wants, but she very much cares about what we want as well. If we don't want things to go too fast, she respects that. Ultimately, she just wants to be near us.
I'm happy with halfway, or a quarter of the way, or any part of the way you're happy with. If you like, we can just lay together, clothes on and everything. I just want to be near you.
There are many cute moments in Karlach's romance, like when she gets all excited after saying I love you for the first time, or when her flames glow blue during intimate moments. The date scene, of course, is another great example of those sweet, adorable Karlach moments. And it fits very well with her character wanting to just live a normal life. Because that is what the date is. It's just, for at least one night, two normal people having a normal date. No absolute, no cultists, no fighting, no monsters, nothing. Just a nice, quiet evening. My favorite moment, however, is a scene that comes after that. It is a conversation with Karlach where you can imagine the future you could have together, if only Karlach had more time. And while small, I think this is one of Karlach's strongest moments of character development, and it's almost a shame that it only occurs in a romance.
Gods, what a disaster. Finding love like this. Finding you. So perfectly late. I've always thought I was fearless. Never scared of a fight, of the future. But dying has taught me so much. There's no courage in fearlessness. There's courage in being fucking terrified, but still going forward. Still being grateful. Still trying.
She is terrified, but still, she keeps going, determined to finish what she started, and that is what makes her brave. The fact that she's now found someone that she loves so much, but won't be able to spend much more time with them, go on more adventures with them, or grow old with them. The fact that she still tries to make the most out of it and enjoy the moments that she gets, that is what makes Karlach's romance so beautiful, but also very bittersweet. And yet, this does not have to be the end for Karlach. Just like the other Origin companions, there are a few different endings for Karlach. The main ones being, as I mentioned earlier in the video, returning to Avernus, the literal hell and the place she was held a prisoner for 10 years, or staying here and dying. Unfortunately, as of the making of this video, there is no way for us to properly fix Karlach's engine. I have a lot of thoughts on this, like I find it weird that we keep finding infernal metal and that the Steel Watch is using this stuff, yet no one has a solution. However, for this video, I want to focus on Karlach herself and the endings as they are, rather than what I wish it was. Besides, I talk about this plenty in my full review video for the game, so if you're curious, go check that out. Anyway, at the end of the game, the big choice to make for Karlach is whether she stays here and let her engine burn her up, or return to Avernus and stay alive. However, those are not her only two options. When we free Orpheus from his prison, we learn that we're going to need a Mind Flayer if we want to defeat the Netherbrain. Apart from Orpheus, there are a few companions that can make the sacrifice, Karlach being one of them. Karlach offers to make the sacrifice, and if you allow her to go through with it, she will turn into a Mind Flayer and she'll be able to stop the Netherbrain. Once she's turned, she says that she no longer feels the engine burning her up. It's cool and quiet. In her final cutscene with her, if you romanced her, she says that she loves you and that she is ready to start living. The big discussion around this choice is whether or not Karlach is still Karlach. Wither says that mind flayers do not possess a soul, but I've read Forgotten Realms lore is a bit inconsistent or unclear at times. If we go by what the game says, Karlach's soul was gone the moment she turned into a mind flayer, so is it really still Karlach? I've read quite a few nice headcanons and theories regarding Karlach's soul as a mind flayer, but personally, her romance scene at the end of the game when she's a mind flayer kinda convinced me that Karlach as we knew her is just not really there anymore. Hey, hello, this is Lisa from the future chiming in real quick. As you guys know, Alarion added an entire epilogue with patch 5. Well, this entire video was scripted and recorded before the epilogue came out. So all the information on Illithid Karlach I had was the short cutscene you get with her after you defeat the Netherbrain. So my opinion on her as an Illithid is based entirely on that scene. Now that the epilogues come out, there is a bit more context on Karlach as an Illithid and what she's like. While I mostly still agree with what I've said in my original script, I did change my mind a little bit after watching the epilogue. So after seeing Illithid Karlach in the epilogue, I believe there is still at least a part of Karlach in there. It seems like she still cares about other people, as she's only letting herself feed on dying hospital patients who have agreed to it. She also seems to like being among friends again, as she's eager to talk to them, as well as spend time with her romance partner, who she still seems to care for as well. I can't deny, however, that the Karlach we knew is no longer there. Even though part of Karlach's conscience seems to still be there, the fact remains that she is a mind flayer now, and a big part of her personality has changed as a result of that. Not only that, but she mentions being hungry physically as well as being hungry in her soul, which is interesting if you keep in mind the fact that Withers mentions that mind flayers don't have a soul. Perhaps she feels hungry in her soul because her soul is quite literally missing? You could of course still make the argument that Karlach as a person is gone, and the mind flayer that replaced her contains her memories, so therefore the person that we're talking to is just a mind flayer with Karlach's memories. I'm personally still not entirely sure what the truth really is, but I honestly think that's up for our own interpretation and headcanon. I think I like it that way. But yeah, I think that's all I wanted to add on Illithid Karlach, and now that you have a little bit more context, let's get back to the rest of the video.
I love you too. Before, that love was an irrepressible inferno. Now, it is a calm, cool object of beauty.
For me, it's the words she uses and the way in which she speaks. It's just so abstract. She calls her new body a vessel, talks about accepting new life. She calls her love for you a calm, cool object of beauty. That is just not how a normal person speaks. There is pretty much no emotion in her voice at all. And yeah, she's Illithid now, so I guess that's the point, but for a character that's usually very emotional, it's a bit jarring. I'm just not entirely convinced the real Karlach is still in there. Maybe a part of her is, but to me this last conversation just really comes across as an Illithid trying to describe what it thinks it is like to be in love, what it thinks people say to each other when they say they love each other and describe their love. Like it's almost robotic? I don't know if that makes sense, but those are my thoughts on it. And don't get me wrong, I like that they clearly show the differences between normal Karlach and Illithid Karlach. That only makes the consequences more effective. One of the other options for Karlach if she doesn't become a mind flayer is letting her engine burn her up, after which she dies. The scene is very emotional, and the beautiful thing about it is that even though she still wishes things had been different, she still accepts her fate and realizes that, despite everything, she is grateful for the people that she met and the things that she got to do. The other option for her is to return to Avernus. When she's burning on the docks, either we or Will can convince her to go back to Avernus. Will offers to go with her, and we can go with her as well. Despite having accepted her fate, it doesn't take much to convince her to return to Avernus. This could be because, well, she obviously doesn't want to die, but I think the main reason she's more okay with returning is that, this time, she won't be alone. In my playthrough, Karlach ended up going back to Avernus with Will by her side. And I love the badass cutscene we get for that. This is personally my favorite ending for her, as I'm 100% convinced there has to be some sort of cure or some sort of way to fix her engine out there. Like, this is the Forgotten Realms we're talking about here, come on. While definitely not ideal, in this ending she gets to live and kill demons while she's at it. With Will by her side, she won't have to be alone. In the meantime, Damon will continue to keep looking for a fix, and with the help of my character I imagine, I'm sure they will figure something out. And once they do, Karlach will be able to return from the hells for good, and live the life she's always wanted. So, who is Karlach? Karlach is the sweet, young girl who worked hard. She's the girl that got betrayed by the person she trusted most. The girl that had to learn how to fend for herself. That had to learn not to let her guard down no matter what. And Karlach is the woman that came out alive and stronger. She loves the simple things in life and takes happiness wherever she can. Karlach is a ride or die that learns how to make peace with death. But above all, Karlach is the girl that just wants to live.
I've always thought I was fearless. Never scared of a fight, of the future. But dying has taught me so much. There's no courage in fearlessness. There's courage in being fucking terrified, but still going forward. Still being grateful. Still trying. We're going to save this city. Together. It's going to be the last thing I do. Call me when you work out the secret to immortality. Until then, I'm just going to get busy living my life. The only one I've got.
Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I am sorry for all the puns, but I just couldn't help myself. You know what? That's a lie. I am not actually sorry. If you liked this video, let me know by liking this video, or leave a comment and let me know what character you'd like me to do a deep dive on next. What do you think about Karlach? What ending did you choose for her? Make sure to let me know. If you like my character deep dives, make sure to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss a single one. If you want to support the channel, check out my Patreon, or join my Discord server and let's continue discussing our favorite characters there. That's it for now though. Thanks again for watching, and I hope to see you on the next one.